Hi, today we're going to talk about recommendations that we're going to give for OZ Air.
So for our first recommendation, we have employee training. And to solve the disrupted operations of Aussie Air, it is recommended that the company invests in training its employees beforehand in order for them to have job-specific knowledge, as well as on-the-job experience to understand how Aussie Air operates and not disrupt business operations due to incompetence.
Now we're going to talk about the tasks and the steps. First of all, they need to hire workers who meet the requirements. Setting the requirements high for the workers so that it is easier for them to filter out and select. Next, they need to hire trainers. Trainers that are good enough to improve the quality of the workers. Third, they need to train the worker by giving a proper training so that the worker can meet the quality standards. Lastly, they need to evaluate the work. If they do not improve, they need to go through another training, which will be an additional cost for OZ Air.
Those that are involved in employee training would include the HR department, as they are responsible for coordinating employee training programs. The HR department will closely work with the department managers to identify what employees need during training, tracking employee progress, and when training sessions should be held. Department managers should also be involved, as they know their employees and team members' strengths and weaknesses more than anybody else in the business. Therefore, they'll understand the specific training the employee needs, and so therefore the training can be more personalized and useful for the employee in the long term. Lastly, training specialists will also be involved, as specialists are responsible for training the employees, whether it be on the job or off the job training. They work with the HR department to ensure that the training is effective and not affecting their own work if they are on-the-job trainers.
So for task 1, hiring workers who meet the requirements can be done early on after the change has been implemented into the organization. The step is usually done within the company. For task 2, hiring trainers can be done after applications have closed, which allows their managers to assess the number of trainers required during the training period. For task 3, training the workers can be done when the trainers begin their on-the-job training. And for task 4, evaluating the trainees' results are done after the training period has ended. And all of these steps or tasks are usually done within the company. So there are two main costs associated with this recommendation. The first one being on-the-job training. The costs of on-the-job training on Aussie Air's case include time constraints, ineffective training methods, as well as new employees who are unable to retain the skills and knowledge received from the training. For time constraints, trainers must make sure to use the time they have to train the new employees efficiently. This would result in a very fast-paced working environment where trainers would need to retain as much information as possible in order to fit the company's timetable. Ineffective training methods could result in trainees not being able to do their job properly, which is why it's necessary for trainers to adopt a method that suits the trainees well. Trainees who are unable to retain these skills and knowledge received from training will eventually perform poorly when it is time for them to do their jobs. So next we have the potential problems associated with the recommendation. The first one being poor performance. The low entries in Aussie Air may introduce the problem of poor performing employees who only recently entered the workforce, which could disrupt Aussie Air's operations. The second one being ineffective training. An ineffective training method could significantly affect the trainees' performance and productivity, as they may not retain the knowledge and skills required to do their jobs. The third one being financial constraints. Aussie Air laid off middle-aged experienced workers due to the financial constraints, which led to them lowering their entry requirements. Aussie Air's current financial constraints could prove to be difficult, since they would need to carefully allocate their funds to training employees on top of repairing planes, as well as additional costs.
Vitalize Aussie Air and address its multifaceted challenges, it is recommended to implement a two-pronged strategy that leverages the power of collaboration and efforts to nurturing a work environment to stimulate innovation and problem solving among employees. Vitalize Aussie Air and address its multifaceted challenges, it is recommended to implement a two-pronged strategy that leverages the power of collaboration efforts and a nurturing work environment to stimulate innovation and problem solving among employees.
To create a collaborative and encouraging work environment, Aussie Air should define guidelines and agreements for rewards. Having a clear guideline of how employees can work to achieve rewards allows employees to have an incentive to work towards, which would create efficiency and effectiveness. As well as that, team building activities can strengthen relationships within the workforce, leading to better understanding and cooperation between employees, thus increasing productivity and efficiency. As well as that, stronger relationships with peers can reduce conflicts and misunderstandings, which can be time-consuming and costly. Furthermore, acknowledging employees' hard works may help in boosting morale and motivation, as it validates their efforts and encourages them to be more committed and productive in their work. This will lead to happier employees in the short term and long term, which would greatly benefit the company. Moreover, employees require independence, as it creates a sense of empowerment, which allows them to take initiative and feel more motivated to do well in their work. Furthermore, having a sense of independence gives employees a sense of fulfillment, as it gives a sense of trust and towards the employee. Lastly, giving feedback provides employees with awareness of their performance within the organization. This allows employees to understand their strengths and what they need to do to improve in order to be efficient and productive in the workplace. As well as that, giving feedback demonstrates that managers value their employees and care about their betterment.
Slide, we detail the roles driving Aussie Air's new collective strategy. The HR department will refine reward criteria and uphold fairness, while Department of Managers and Team Leaders will pinpoint and encourage reward-worthy behaviors within their teams. Financials will be handled by the Finance Department, ensuring the reward programs affordability, and the Training and Development team will provide skill enhancement programs to foster teamwork. Communications will be orchestrated by the Internal Communications team, ensuring clear messaging around the rewards program, while the IT department ensures the infrastructure for tracking achievements is in place. Finally, executive leadership will spearhead the program, ensuring it's aligned with our long-term strategic objectives. Together, these efforts form the backbone of our approach to invigorate Aussie Air's work culture. This slide outlines the streamlined timeline and locales for Aussie Air's US strategy rollout. Initially, HR at the head office spends the first 2 months developing the reward system. Training for managers then occurs in regional offices in month 3. The system is launched across the company in month 4. Feedback is gathered in month 6 during departmental meetings, leading to system adjustments in the head office over the following 2 months. Reward nominations are ongoing in all departments, with distribution events set quarterly and annually. The cycle concludes with an annual system review at the head office.
The cost of creating a collaborative work environment is that it may be time-consuming, as it involves having to undergo team-building activities as well as building trust and addressing difficulties within the organization. Following the complications in Aussie Air, employees may find it difficult to build trust with team members and managers, therefore taking a longer time period to have a collaborative work environment. It may be difficult for Aussie Air to adapt to this recommendation, as it leans towards a demographic management style instead of Aussie Air's autocratic leadership style. For the success of this recommendation, managers must be able to trust employees and provide support and guidance, which can be difficult as both Aussie Air employees and managers are used to the difficult autocratic style and decision making.
For this recommendation, there can be potential problems. First, there can be perception of unfairness. Employees might perceive the reward system as unfair if criteria or implementation seems subjective or biased towards certain departments or roles. Second, resource constraint. Implementing a new reward system can strain resources, including time, budget, and personnel, especially if the organization is already facing financial pressures. Lastly, there can be short-term focus. Employees might focus on short-term achievements to gain rewards, potentially neglecting long-term goals and struggles. Thank you!